My name is Samantha Reed. I'm 28 and I live in Chicago, Illinois. I work as a data analyst for a large logistics company, which means my days are consumed by numbers and spreadsheets. I've never been the kind of person who enjoys noise or attention. Maybe that's why my family has always seen me as a shadow, quiet, diligent, but rarely noticed. On the first night of December, as snow fell heavily over Lincoln Park, I curled up on the sofa with a mug of hot cocoa when my phone vibrated. It was my mother. At first, I thought it was just a check-in or a reminder about Christmas gifts, but her voice was colder than ever. You are banned from Christmas until you apologize to your sister Jessica. Through the background noise coming from the phone, I could hear clinking glasses, Christmas music, laughter. My family celebrating somewhere in suburban Evanston in my parents' two-story house, decorated with twinkling lights since the start of the month. And I was left on the outside. I asked why, my heart pounding. My mother's tone was firm, like a judge delivering a sentence. Apparently, I had embarrassed Jessica at her birthday party in October by accidentally mentioning the massive credit card debt she had been hiding. I never meant to shame her. I just couldn't keep smiling while everyone praised her success, knowing how often I had scrambled to cover her debts. My throat tightened, not out of fear but bitterness. Jessica, the golden child, could make mistakes endlessly and always be forgiven. And me, the one who had carried nearly every household bill for years, from electricity, internet, and car insurance to hospital bills after Dad's heart surgery, I was invisible. I did it quietly, without recognition, without asking for thanks. And now, because I spoke the truth, I was cast out of my own family at Christmas. I heard Jessica laughing on the other end of the line, her voice blending with the sounds of holiday cheer. Have you ever felt pushed aside by your own family because they refused to see your sacrifices? If you have, tell me where you're listening from. I need to know I'm not alone. I set the phone down, my hands trembling. Memories flooded back. My years at the University of Michigan, juggling full-time classes and part-time jobs at the library, and a cafe just to pay tuition and rent. While my classmates enjoyed weekends, I was finishing midnight shifts, returning to a small, cramped room smelling of coffee. I never blamed anyone. I had chosen this life. But the pain gnawed at me whenever I called home, hearing about Jessica living in a luxury apartment downtown, fully supported by my parents, while I worked endlessly just to keep up with student loans. She was the pride of the family, attending lavish parties, posting radiant smiles on social media, while I remained buried in numbers no one praised. After Dad's heart surgery 5 years ago, I paid the bills they couldn't cover. I handled the family phone plan, car insurance, even temporary loans for Jessica, always with promises of repayment that never came. Each month I saw her traveling, partying, living freely while I counted every dollar. And every time my help was expected, taken for granted, never appreciated. That night, as snow blanketed Lakeview, I opened my laptop and began typing. Hospital bills from 2018. Utilities, car insurance, credit card payments, loans to Jessica. Every cent tracked in meticulous detail. Hours passed. I totaled everything. $39,642. Nearly $40,000 I had spent in 4 years. Enough for a new car, a deposit on an apartment, or an MBA program. But instead, it had gone to my family's bills, Jessica's indulgences, and debts no one acknowledged. I printed the spreadsheet, placed it in a folder, and wrote on the cover, "This is what I have done for everyone, and this is what I will no longer do." For the first time I felt lighter, not because the pain vanished but because I was taking control of my life. Step by step I cut ties. Autopay for the mortgage canceled. Family phone lines separated. Electricity and internet payments removed. Jessica's supplementary credit card deactivated. I left instructions in a folder so they couldn't claim ignorance, but it was no longer my responsibility. I had boundaries and I was finally enforcing them. When I showed the folder to my family on Christmas Eve, the room fell silent. Numbers, dates, debts, loans, I laid it all out. Jessica's face turned crimson. She tried to argue, but I calmly stated the truth. I had carried nearly $40,000 for this family over the past 3 years, and I would no longer be their bank. My parents were shocked, humbled, realizing just how much I had done. I left that night, stepping into the cold wind carrying nothing but myself. The next day their group chat went silent. No more reminders, no more subtle guilt trips. For the first time in years the silence felt freeing. I focused on myself. Applied for a part-time MBA program at Northwestern. Opened a personal savings account for my own dreams. Planned a trip to Iceland to see the Northern Lights. I learned to savor quiet evenings, sip tea, read books, and surround myself with people who valued me. Grace, my mentor, told me I had done what many never dare. Set boundaries, saved myself, and given my family the chance to grow. I laughed, tears rolling down my cheeks, for the first time feeling proud, validated, and free. Months passed. My parents slowly began to take responsibility. A small acknowledgement from my mother came in the form of a message. I never realized how much you did. We'll try to handle things ourselves. Not a full apology, but a first step. And that was enough. On New Year's Eve, I sipped cocoa watching the fireworks in Chicago. I didn't feel smaller because I wasn't at their table. I felt powerful, respected, and finally like myself. I realized that love is never bought with money or silence. Real love comes with respect. And from that day forward, I promised myself, I will never again be the family's shadow, the default bank. I will live for me.